Hello, and welcome to DOnorfy's Deep Dive. This month, we will be looking at our newly updated integration with JustGiving. One little caveat about today's deep dive session is that as the JustGiving platform is locked down to just charities, CSCs, schools, etc., we don't actually have our own test accounts. And so therefore, there will be no live showings from JustGiving, but I do hope to give you enough of a flavour. So, for this session, we're going to cover why we use JustGiving, how the DOnorfy and JustGiving connection works, how data is managed across both platforms, what the integration does and what is brought through, a step-by-step guide to setup, linking of DOnorfy campaigns, and how things look on a profile. So, why do we integrate? Essentially, we like to specialize and provide you with the best in terms of core CRM functionality. And with DOnorfy being a cloud-based provider and award-winning CRM system, why not also integrate with other best-in-field providers of other functionality? After all, there is no point of reinventing the wheel if it's already been done extremely well already. This way, you get to pick the best tools to fit the job that you need to do, and we can concentrate on continuing to supply the best CRM that we can possibly build for you. JustGiving is considered to be the best in field for peer-to-peer and social donating, and JustGiving do charge fees, as has been widely documented, and these can be found on their website. You'll be glad to know, though, that the JustGiving integration is free within your Essentials or Professional DOnorfy tenant. So why we're using JustGiving? Firstly, JustGiving is the world's leading online fundraising platform. It aids your charity or organisation to capture donations from not just your own army of fundraisers, but also donations directly to your own page. There's a plethora of ideas and activities that your supporters can engage with to raise funds for your charity or organisation. These cover peer-to-peer fundraising, viral mass participation fundraising, challenge events, other sponsored events, gala dinners, and many more creative ideas on top. Overall, the benefits are that it's online, quick and simple for fundraisers to set up, easy for donors to donate via, and provides you with another fundraising channel. And of course, all of the financials are managed by JustGiving. So how does this connection work then? Well, there are a number of different ways to pass information about who is supporting your charity or organisation from JustGiving to DOnorfy. So the donors that you have can be via peer-to-peer or direct to your charity page. That information flows through and is processed on JustGiving, and it will need to be then put into DOnorfy. This can be done either via keying the data in directly into DOnorfy, which, if you're accustomed to the data downloads from JustGiving, can be a bit of a task to manipulate the data for your own requirements before keying in the data. Or you can use our file uploader, which is a slightly less labour-intensive way to add the data to DOnorfy, but still does need some manipulation of data before it can be imported. Or you can use the integration from JustGiving, from DOnorfy for the JustGiving donations. And then you can also add a range of additional integrations such as MailChimp on top of that. This will enhance your constituents' experience through the creation of follow-up acknowledgements, onboarding journeys, or awareness fundraising campaigns that you might want to send to them. However, for this deep dive, we'll just be concentrating on the JustGiving part. So how is data managed across the two platforms? All the data is captured and managed through the JustGiving platform. That includes donations, communications, preferences, the fundraising pages, gift aid currently, and the thank you communications. The data that gets passed into DOnorfy will give you a holistic view, that 360-degree view of your supporters and the income about them. It's all about reporting in essence. So DOnorfy will allow you to see who's donated, that's who and how many, who your fundraisers are, your fundraising connections for your fundraisers, to see the reach of the network of that fundraiser. So are they the key influencer, that golden nugget that your organization can use more? Finances, so all of the transactions that have already taken place within JustGiving are recorded onto timelines, as well as the gift aid. And you can also then use DOnorfy to set auto tagging, perhaps based on the type of fundraiser that was being donated to. And then you can use the segmentation tools for future communications. So what does the integration do? Some of you may already be used to the previous JustGiving integration, but here's a quick recap of what the old integration provided. Firstly, it brought in the fundraisers page donations only, not direct donations to your own page. It pulled in the page holder only details and not the donors. The settings were global, so all donations got allocated to the same campaign, the same product, and the same fund. And donations were on the page holder's timeline. The enhanced integration of JustGiving includes a raft of updates and additional features. So for constituents, the donors are now added when permitted, as well as the page holder's information. The fundraising pages panel is now viewable on a constituent profile. This will give you a quick view of how the fundraising page is doing, and will also show you a history of other pages that they fundraised from. Opt-ins are now mapped to a purpose within the preference center. And social profiles for JustGiving can also be added to a profile as well. On a timeline, page donations and fundraiser page donations and direct donations to your page are now on there. Donation on the donor's timeline will be soft credited to the page holder themselves. For campaigns, there's now the ability to link campaigns from DOnorfy to specific campaigns in JustGiving, and this will give you more control over settings. The control within campaigns will give you the ability to change the campaign, the product, and the fund. And the JustGiving page settings are at system level, which is the same as before. The campaign level, fundraising page level, that's custom codes. And the integration will use these codes in preference of the campaign level or the global settings, which I'll come on to later on. In addition, you can now set the start date from which JustGiving data will be collected. this will be manually entering the dates, or you can opt to take back 3 months of data. Gift aid claimed by JustGiving is now available via the integration, and it will be added directly to the transaction itself. And there will be a new list type of fundraising pages as well. Still the same from the old integration will be that the data is collected for fundraiser pages overnight on a daily basis. Payment information, that's the transactional information, will be collected once a week. And the integration will allow you to collect data up to 3 months old. So if you are new to JustGiving, you can opt to do that. So if you've never done any import or entering of transactions, you can use that method. Or if you have done transactional inputting of previous information, you can now opt to select the start date. And also the integration history in data management navigation is viewable in the history tab. So how do you set all of this up? So to set up the JustGiving integration and take advantage of all of the time savings and extra data that the integration will deliver, we will run through the need of a charity account, configuration of the integration, that's obtaining your API key from JustGiving, configuring the integration, this is linking your JustGiving account to DOnorfy, setting your defaults, and mapping fundraising activities to campaign pages. So to allow DOnorfy to connect to JustGiving and retrieve the data that is required, you will first need to have a charity's account with them if you don't already. Secondly, you'll need to register for access to their API. And then once you've registered for their API, you'll then need to ask JustGiving to upgrade your own API to their data API plan. This is just a submit request form from their website. You'll be glad to know there is a knowledge base article which fully covers this. It's called How to Link JustGiving and DOnorfy. Which is here. And all of the links are contained there. And it also provides you with relevant areas to go into JustGiving. Once you've got the access and your plan has been upgraded, you'll be able to start linking the two platforms. For this, you will need your JustGiving charity ID and your API key along with your username and password for your JustGiving charities account. Here is where you will find your details of your charity ID. So you go to settings, then edit charity details. This is all from within JustGiving. And then there circled is your charity ID. These details are then to be added into the JustGiving settings, which you will be able to find via settings, configuration, JustGiving settings. So once you've entered your JustGiving charity ID, your API key, your username and your password, you can then test to make sure that these settings are correct or not. And if not, you'll be able to then just re-enter them as required. Once that's been done, It's now for the fun bits. Setting up the default settings for JustGiving transactions in DOnorfy. So under the default mapping section, you'll need to complete the settings. Firstly, the transaction payment settings. There's 5 settings in total which you'll need to complete. First off is the campaign. So this is a default campaign for your JustGiving donations that are not linked via an actual campaign, which I'll show you later on. Then you've got your payment method for one-off donations, your payment method for recurring donations. These can be the same, or you may opt to have them slightly different. So maybe JustGiving and JustGiving recurring. And you need to set up your bank account and any acknowledgements. To set up different payment methods, you might want to do that. So you'll need to do that within settings, configuration, and payment methods. It's worthwhile to note that as gift aid is handled by JustGiving at the moment, it's best to ensure that the potential gift aid is deselected. Next, the transaction allocation. Again, there's 5 options here. Here you'll need to select your product for one-off or recurring donation. So that would be maybe donation or JustGiving donation. You'll then need to select your product for sponsorship money from the fundraiser, and also the product for sponsorship from the money from the donor. These can be the same, or they can be different again, depending on how you want to set up. And then you'll need to add in your default fund. Again, you might want it just to go to general, or you might want to steward it to maybe a general social fund, for example. And then you can add a department as well. This is an optional element. And for those of you who are using departments, I'm sure you've got one in mind. For those not, then you can leave it blank. So these are the basic settings for your JustGiving donations. If you're happy with them, you can then toggle the integration is active button to yes. And if you would like to start the integration from a specific date, say your last input of batch of JustGiving donations, then you can set that date there within the receive payment data starting from box. Otherwise, the integration will search back 3 months for any donations within JustGiving. Next, you'll need to click on Save Changes, and the process won't run until overnight for the fundraiser data. So you can either opt to wait that, which will give you a little bit more time to add up any defaults for campaigns, or even set up any defaults for campaigns on the campaign pages, or you can opt to click the Run Now button. So next is setting up custom codes via JustGiving. This I mentioned before, and is a feature that is available to you from within JustGiving itself, and allows you to tag your charity's own database codes, the department, the campaign, and also the fund to any of your events, campaign pages, or support fundraising pages on JustGiving using their custom codes. So how could this be used? Well, let's say you have 10 fundraiser pages for a campaign for a new classroom, 9 of which go to the department, campaign, and fund, which is mapped in your campaign settings in DOnorfy. but one person specifically wants money raised from their page to go to a different fund for, let's say, for example, for pupil materials funds. That's workbooks, pencils, etc. So by putting the fund for that into custom code 4 on their page, the donations will then be coded for that specific fund and not for the one in the campaign settings. Just gives you that little bit more flexibility on how you want to steward money across your funds. So how are these set up? Well, JustGiving has provided a handy online presentation on how to do this, which you'll find a link from our knowledge base article. It's actually a little bit further down this page, and it's the heading custom codes on JustGiving fundraising pages, and it's the article. The PDF is linked on the within the article there. So you can assign up to 3 custom codes. That's department, campaign, and fund, and they're mapped automatically then within the integration, meaning that you don't need to do anything. It's all done from within JustGiving. So this screenshot will show you where you will need to manage this from. There we go. So within JustGiving is add fundraising page codes. Once you've added the codes, they'll show up in all the JustGiving reports, making your reporting much easier to manage. So the next step is to set up and link any campaigns. This is optional. You can either opt to skip this part, or you can and just rely on the default settings, or you might want to link up specific campaigns. So to do that, it's all managed from within the campaigns area on DOnorfy. For this example, I've already got a campaign set up, but you might want to add a new one or edit an existing one. So here's my campaign. As you see, my basic information is all complete. So these are the global settings for the campaign that I have. And the next part I'll show you relates to JustGiving. So that's the JustGiving tab at the top. If you click on there, it will move through to a page looking like this. The first tab on the left shows any fundraising pages that would be contributing to your campaign. It's not populated at the moment because it's not linked up, but I'll show you how it looks when it's populated later on. The second tab is the campaign specific settings. Now these are the settings that you can use to override DOnorfy's default JustGiving settings, which you set up earlier. For example, you may wish this fund source, as in campaign, goes to a different one from what was originally set up, and you can steward your money different ways. You can also opt to take in different products here, and also link anonymous donor information out to a different anonymous donor record within your system if you so desire. So once you've set that up as you want, you can then click on Save Pages, Save Changes. From here, you can also opt to add in the link the campaign. That's this part here. I've opted to link in the Extreme Challenge 2019 Kilimanjaro event, fundraising page within JustGiving. That will take in the donations specifically in relation to that page into here. So back to the fundraising pages view, as we saw it before, nothing linked up, but as I just showed you, I've just linked up the Kilimanjaro campaign, and once the link has been established, a data summary will display here, which will give you a quick overview of how many pages are contributing to your campaign. As so. You can expand on the descriptions to bring up extra details, such as the constituent number. And it will look something like this. And of course, you can then use the constituent number to, or even the email to search on within DOnorfy to find that fundraiser page or fundraiser directly in DOnorfy. So now we've set all of that up and everything is linking through. How do these does this reflect on a profile view? So for fundraiser data, as we know, the connection will happen every 24 hours and will update. And within the profile view, there is a new panel called fundraising pages, and this will then be populated and look something like this. As you'll see, the most recent campaign is displayed and shows you some key information about that. There's also a pages tab which you can click on, which will show you previous pages that they have fundraised from. If you don't find that you've got fundraising pages on your profile, then it can be added via the configuration settings tab, which you'll find in settings configuration constituent types. And then you need to find your constituent type that you want to edit. And then there is, under the profile view part, there's a new option that's called fundraising pages, which can be added just there. Once added and save changes, it will become visible on the profiles for those constituents. Or of course, you can always opt to show all panels, and all of the panels will be displayed. So now we've looked at how fundraiser information is displayed. Let's see how the transactions will flow onto a timeline. Transactions will be downloaded on a weekly basis and will show on the timeline of the constituent who has donated, and will be soft credited to a fundraiser when from where it came from, as in their fundraiser page. To see the detail, let's open up one of the transactions here. The top one, the transaction there, it's got one from JustGiving. If we open that up, you'll see the general summary of the transaction. If you click on the little more button, well, more link, it will open up additional information about it. Here you will see the fundraiser that it's soft credited to. So that's where from where the page was that the fundraiser was running, and it will show you the campaign that it was linked to as well. So that's a quick summary of how all the information flows in and how it views on the fundraisers page, as in their profile, and also then on the donors page, as in the transactions. So here's a quick summary of the supporter journey. Your fundraisers are engaging with their supporter base online, who in turn donate via JustGiving. JustGiving acknowledges these donations on your behalf through the communications that you've got set up there. And then that data is passed via the API into DOnorfy. That API data will consist of the constituents, the GDPR preferences, the financial data, which will then allow you to do the reporting. And further to this, you can then strengthen the journey by passing the information to other integrations such as MailChimp, where you can then email them with your newsletters, maybe an update onto how their donation was used for that specific campaign that was being fundraised off, and lots of other things. You can even set up different supporter journeys within MailChimp as well. And that's everything. That's how all the information flows. So next up, where do you find information and how do you get started on all of this? Well, firstly, this recording is going to be available on DOnorfy Facebook chat group. It will also be on the knowledge base. So that's support.donorfy.com. If you scroll down to the JustGiving area, you'll see all the documents in relation to the integration and also FAQs. And then for additional help in setting up the custom codes and various other things, as in the how to get the API set up, there's the JustGiving Charity Help Center as well, that can be accessed. And of course, you can always, if you've got any questions, you can always email support@donorfy.com. So I think that's everything. Thank you very much for watching our deep dive on JustGiving. You'll be glad to know that other deep dives are available on other integrations and other areas of DOnorfy, and these will be updated on a regular basis, and these are all available via our knowledge base at support.donorfy.com. So thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.